What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin. Let's talk boxing and coffee. So, where do all fights start? Round one. So, Naoya Inoue and Sam Goodman is coming into their highly anticipated matchup in Japan. And I would like to talk about it. I don't hear a lot of other YouTube channels, really giving this fight a lot of, it's just due and its credit. So we're gonna be talking about that fight. We're gonna break down an interview that Sam Goodman was on with Ben. And I like the interview. There's a lot to break down in this interview, so stay with us here at Round One Sports TV. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button for me, and let's get right into this episode. Well, fight fans, yeah, uh, Sam Goodman and Naoya Inoue, they're about to go to Japan and fight for what can only be described as championships supremacy, right? A unification is one thing, but to be undisputed, well, that's a whole different conversation now, isn't it? Um, so when you know you got to fight with someone that's going to defend the undisputed championship of the world, um, that's big. It's big for the sport. It's big for the two men, and we're gonna break down this interview with Ben um, Morgan. He had an interview with Sam Goodman, and I've been thinking about this interview for a little while now, right? And you know, ah, I don't know. I'm gonna play the interview for you guys, right? A little bit of it, and I want you guys to tell me what you think, whether or not this is a mistake or maybe he's just really confident, Sam Goodman, and what he believes, right? So I'm gonna pull up some of this interview right here. I believe it was around the 16-minute mark. Let me let me get it together right here. And I don't know. It's before I got on my live, right? I was, I'm prepared to break down the fighters and really go in depth. And it's just like this last part, not the last part of the interview, but one part of the interview really stuck out for me. And it's really been like I've been asking myself the question, is he not doing proper homework for Naoya anyway? And is he considering him like an average fighter? I'm gonna play it for you guys, and you guys tell me what you think about, his response to um some of the fighters fighting with Naoya Inoue and so forth and so forth. Let me see where the interview is at right here, and then I'm gonna play it for you. Hold on.
Guys in the country.
Would be fascinated to know how sparring between Sam Goodman and Liam Wilson went. What was that experience like? How'd you go in there?
It's a fight. It's great, So I love it. So it was real good rounds and real good work, and that's why we're working with him. Straight away that when you go in with guys like Liam, it's on. It's a proper scrap. So
Sparring with
good.
Liam.
Did he try and put it on you a bit? Or?
We both did. It was unreal. So it was a good round. So yeah, I'll be doing plenty more of it.
And Jason Maloney clearly has fought against Inoue before. Did you have a chat with him as well as the rounds, or did he try and show you anything in sparring that you might need?
No, not really. Like, we spoke about Japan a little bit, and not a whole heap about the fight. But yeah, it was purely going there for real good work, and It was wasn't much sharing of experiences or anything like that.
Well, you've got plenty you could call on for that sort of thing. TJ, I'm sure, would take a call about what it was like to fight Inoue in his most recent fight. Jason would be more than happy to divulge how he went in that experience. Would you not try and lean on them to any extent to try and find some inside information as to what it is like to share the ring with this guy?
If they've got any advice, you're going to listen, and whether you take it on board or not, it depends on what the sort of advice is. But it's not something I'm going out there seeking and wondering if there's any secrets to how I'm going to beat this guy. Like I said before, I back what I can do, and I've done that in every fight. I know there's no magic out there or no secret source to anything. I know that it's hard work and putting in the work every day, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm putting in that work to go ahead and be undisputed world champion.
Do you think there's something in attitude ahead of a fight like this? Do you need to truly believe that you're going to win this fight in order to be able to do so? Because plenty of people go into these sorts of fights and don't believe. Is that an important part of this?
100%. If you don't believe, why are you showing up? And that's the mentality I've always had. So look, it's not going to change when I get the big.
All right, that's what I'm talking about right there. What's up, Carlos? How you doing in the building? Is that Snake? What's up, Snake? How you doing in the building? Haven't seen you in a while. How you guys doing? Thank you for joining us this morning. Well, as you can see, the interview right there, you can check out the full interview, and I think that's main event with Ben. He has the full interview there. You can go over there and check out the full interview with him and Sam Goodman. It was an interesting interview. That part of the interview right there, I was wondering if it was like if two of the opponents on that side that shared the ring with you, the fighter you're about to fight with, wouldn't you think, you would ask him something like, how was it with him? Like, tell me the truth. Like, how was this? And what do you think? And he's like, nah, I didn't ask him anything. I'm having confidence in myself. I'm telling you, this guy ain't no Superman and I've heard that before. I've heard fighters try to dull Naoya Inoue down to like, everybody says, oh, he's a human. He bleeds just like you or me. Don't hype him up more than what you need to, right? And I understand that. I'm like, okay, cool. But I still think I would have got the advantage or something, and I would have asked him, right? Or is he trying to like play it off like to give the impression like, oh, you ain't nothing big. And he was like, yo, Maloney, how was he? Like, but I would have to acknowledge him, Naoya Inoue, as the talent that he is, and the obstacle that he presents. He's not this kind of champion for no reason. You don't roll out of bed and become this kind of world champion. Two-time division undisputed world champion, all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions. 28 fights, 25 ways by knockout. He's coming off like an amazing knockout streak right now. Like I said, the only man that breaks the streak is Donaire. So other than that, he's got like, what is it, 15, 16 knockouts consecutively, besides that Donaire one fight that he went the full distance with Donaire. That's it. So, that I think TJ Doheny was his 10th consecutive knockout in a row. So, we haven't been going to the scorecards and Naoya Inoue fight in quite some time. It shows the force that he is. Let's talk about him. Naoya Inoue, born in Japan, started his career at 19 years old. I don't think that a lot of people thought he was going to be the fighter he turned out to be, other than himself and his father, of course. I believe that they knew, that he was special. How far he would go, I don't know if anybody can predict that, right? But he's gone pretty far. 6 professional fights, win his first flyweight title. moves up quickly throughout the divisions, which is 4 of them, which throughout a boxer's career, jumping up 1 or 2 weight divisions is probably the most average, 1 or 2. When you start getting into 3, then people start, okay, 3 division world champion. That's impressive, you know. Now you're a 4, and now people are like, okay, wait a minute. Where's this guy going? You start to see the special ones from just the average fighters, men and women that can't do that. One division is hard enough to do. I've known remarkable champions that were really dominant. With Fredo Gomez, right? Like I said, he had a remarkable 100% knockout ratio, wins the world title, defends it 17 times, was it? And he defended all 17 times by 100% knockout ratio. All his title defense, he knocked out everybody. Every fight before he moved up, he knocked out everybody. He moves up 1 weight division and fights Sanchez and gets destroyed. 1 weight division for a man that dominant. All title defenses, knockouts, all fights previous to obtaining the title, all knockouts. Moved up 1 weight division, got destroyed. He went back down and beat everybody else again. Look, it's hard to do. Not every man can do that. The way that Naoya Inoue did it is what makes him really remarkable and sets him apart from any other fighter, of in the past or in today. He's truly a generational talent, Naoya Inoue. And he's really special to watch. If you love the sweet science and you love the way boxing is supposed to look, right? I believe he's the closest we're going to get. Every man and woman has their own unique style, and styles are really good. Mayweather had the Philly shell, which he made it the Mayweather shell. He like upgraded on that. He added to it. He showed it could be done at a higher level. You know, and there are a lot of fighters that have their own style. Terrence Crawford has a great style to his. I like his patience, and I like his awareness in a fight. His timing is good. Um, Terrence could switch from right to left, and those are the elite fighters, the special ones. Naoya Inoue shows me with every fight, he adds new wrinkles to his fight, his arsenal. You know, he doesn't fight everybody the same. He takes what you give him, but boy, does he really take it. Like he brings the fight to the opponent. And he's been, a lot of people have questioned, oh, he gets hit coming in. Well, that's all they have to say about him, because that's what they would have to look to try to minimize the superiorness that is Naoya Inoue. Oh, he gets hit here. He lost 1 round here. Really? That's their arguments? Not that he's getting knocked out, not that he's losing fights, not that he's doing what he's doing. You see? And that's when you start to look at other fighters and where do you measure him? What is your measuring stick to an elite fighter, a great fighter? Or do you just consider every fighter great? What do you categorize fighters for their ability and skill? And do you know how to identify different skills? All boxing is not supposed to look the same to be an elite boxer. No. So you have to know how to break things down. There's a lot of fighters out there that have really mastered their kind of way of fighting. Navarrete came into his own. He had a real awkward style, but it doesn't seem like a lot of guys were able to beat him. And he became a champion. Of late, Navarrete looks like he's falling off a little, but that's another story. Naoya Inoue is really showing that with each fight, he's just really surprising and shocking a lot of people with each fight. There have been talks of him moving up and fighting fighters such as Tank Davis that we can get into. But this fight with Sam Goodman is a big fight in a lot of ways. Sam Goodman for his country, Australia. There has been, a few Australian fighters that have really uh captivated big moments. There was what was his name there? I forget his name. The Australian fighter there. It starts with an L. Leon, I think it was. That he beat that Japanese guy, and no one thought he was going to beat him. He was like a huge underdog. It was a fight a long time ago, man. That fight was a long time ago, right? So, I believe they talk about it in the interview too. That's right. In the main event one that I'm telling you, he talks about it. He talks about it. I was skipping through the interview and stuff, like I was watching it. And I saw that part. So, there, and then you got like not he's not a crazy big star, but George Camboza beat Teofimo Lopez. You guys do remember that when Australia got that big win. That was a big night for Australia. You know, what's his name? Beat Manny Pacquiao, Jeff Horn. That was a pretty big night, because that was Manny Pacquiao's name, regardless of anything. So Jeff Horn got a big name. There was a lot of people in that ring on that night when Jeff Horn did that. I remember that night. So, these are moments that some of these Australian fighters can grab, motivation from. And I'm pretty sure that Sam Goodman wants to cement his name in the legacy of among Australian fighters and their accomplishments in boxing. So Sam Goodman is definitely game. We talked about this. Sam Goodman is the number one ranked opponent for Naoya Inoue's WBO and IBF titles. So he's more than qualified. He's the most qualified as of now in the 122 pounds. Everybody else he either already beat or are waiting in line. But make no mistake, Sam Goodman is the most qualified to fight Naoya Inoue. He also talked about Sam Goodman, about him. Why didn't he take the fight right away? And we're gonna get into that because I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But Naoya Inoue's career is a special one so far. It's not over with already. Winning his 6th professional fight, only 8 professional fights, and he becomes a 2-division world champion. You heard that correctly. 8 professional fights. You're already a 2-division world champion? Usually when I hear something like that, the guy's got like 30 something fights and he becomes a 2-division world champion. He finally, been in that division for a long time, got the belt, defended them, maybe more than one title in that division. Now he's ready to make that move up. In only 8 fights, Naoya Inoue was a champion in 2 separate weight divisions. It's not that he fought in 2 separate weight divisions. He was a champion already in 2 with 8 fights. I was like, He enters the World Series of Boxing. He wins the first Muhammad Ali Coven Trophy for the bantamweight division. Not the first in regards to all weight divisions, but the first for the bantamweight division. So when they have other events and other bantamweight tournaments, that'll be like the second one, the third one, or so forth as history goes on. He has the first one. So, the kind of champion that he could have the possibility to go down and have that also attached to his credentials and his legacy. That's a big accomplishment, So he moves on to the 118, and that's when shit got serious for the Japanese superstar, right? Many people by this time, and many people, might not know him today, but make no mistake, he's one of the best things the sport has today, in and outside of the ring. Naoya Inoue has really shown that if you put hard work and dedication behind your skills, sky's the limit. Where do you take it as a fighter? And today I wanted to come on and talk about Naoya Inoue and Sam Goodman, and also like the word of the day. The word of the day when the chips are down. When you know, when the chips are down and people are counting you out, what do you do? How do you, how do you respond? How do you prepare for everyone doubting you and saying you have no chance in this fight? Sam Goodman. And Sam Goodman is coming into this fight, you know, the only opponent that I could say they had in common was TJ Doheny. As you heard, he sparred with Jason Maloney. And those that's a kind of good measuring stick, to spar against these guys and and then go back and watch them fights because make no mistake, Naoya Inoue is a puzzle. He is a puzzle. Um, you're damned if you do, if you're damned if you don't attack him. If you attack him, you're liable running into a big shot. If you don't and you stay on the outside, he's gonna pick you apart. You have to develop a plan where that you can be offensively effective against Naoya Inoue. The key is to try to at least back him up or give him shots that he's really not seeing. There's not many styles that he hasn't come up against, and I don't think that Sam Goodman presents anything, but he can surprise Naoya Inoue. Um, Naoya Inoue knows, just like a lot of us boxers know, that sometimes you can flow in boxing. You can be instinctive. You can just a counter. You can react off of your opponent. There are many different ways you can approach a fight. Naoya Inoue hops off the balls of his feet in like kind of like in a bouncing, darting motion. He's always in position to move in for an attack. When he moves in for an attack, typically the way I see him fighting, he's 2 or 3 punches ahead of his guy. When he attacks, he's not just going for the shot, when he attacks, he sees where it's going and he'll either switch it up or he'll keep what he was thinking going. He's a very real good fighter mentally, Naoya Inoue. Now, like I said, you can catch him. You can catch him in between exchanges. Many fighters, when he had them hurt, Naoya Inoue was coming forward and they hit him. But by this time, Naoya Inoue has you hurt and trying to survive. The odds of you being in position and really sitting down on your front foot and trying to hit him, I don't know if you'll have enough confidence to throw that punch with really bad intentions. It doesn't take much to knock a person out. His momentum, good technique, good timing, he could be dropped, as you saw with Luis Pantera Nari, right? Now, that instance right there when he got dropped, he got hit hard. He got hit hard, right? Before the fight even finished, you could see the bruising starting to appear on his cheek of Luis Pantera Nari's knuckle on Naoya Inoue's chin. You could see it. That's how hard he hit him. And then when I saw that and I saw him get up later when I watched the fight again, I noticed the bruising in the fight the first time I watched it. I was like, damn, look at it, it's already bruising. I noticed that. But when you go watch it again, right? I said to myself, man, Naoya Inoue got a good chin on him, huh? He took that punch well. I went back and looked at the men that took that kind of punch from Luis Pantera Nari. They got knocked out. They didn't make it back up. And if they did, they were out of their mind already. He went and just finished them. Luis Pantera Nari has a whole bunch of knockouts. He's a power puncher. That's why with the way he looks. See, Nari understands those hook shots. That's what I talk about. There's different styles in boxing. He looks a little wild. but is very effective. Why? He knows himself as a fighter. He understands his style. And that style can be effective. So much and so that he had one loss coming into that fight? Brandon Figueroa was the only man to beat him, which is probably a common copy of him, just bigger. Just bigger. Yeah. So, I said to myself, wow, he took the punch well. He took the punch well. So, in order to be these kind of champions and elite fighters, I noticed among a lot of the legends in boxing, these were all the kind of traits the legends and the greats have. What we consider the goats of boxing. Each of them had to have a good chin, a good punch, speed, ring generalship, ring IQ. A gentleman that was really impressive for me, Sweepy Pernell Whitaker, the way he would move in his defense and he would make people miss and he would go all the way down like to the floor. And like when Sweepy Pernell Whitaker was Whitaker, when he was coming up, I didn't think there was anybody that could beat that man. No. And unfortunately the lifestyle came into Sweepy Pernell Whitaker's life, drugs and alcohol. It slowed him down and, a lack of training and stuff. And unfortunately, it happens to some of our best fighters. The what if that would have never occurred in his life? What kind of champion could he have went it down as? Man, that man was amazing. He was fighting in weight divisions he didn't belong. He was literally, I bet you he had like a brick in his pocket when he was weighing in. He didn't weigh that shit, man. I don't know how he pulled that off. I have no idea. He was just really skilled. And he got robbed in a few fights. Sweet people know, oh, did he get robbed? Man, he got robbed in some big fights. And he was a remarkable talent. Remarkable. Elite of the elites. There's a few of them. And Naoya Inoue is really putting himself in that kind of conversation. I believe by the time it's all said and done, he's going to put himself in the kind of conversation of the best to ever do it. You're going to have to take him into consideration. Naoya Inoue right now, coming into this fight with Sam Goodman, he's not the biggest puncher per se. He can box, he can move. I've seen in between exchanges, he got hit. His last fight, he got hit. He says he broke his hand somewhere during the 4th round. I was watching the fight. He seemed to throw the hand okay after the 4th round. I didn't really, I seen him throw it heavy a few times in some shape, but you can't say it wasn't broken because I know tough men that will just throw it. So if it was that case and his hand was broken, he was throwing it pretty good. Sam Goodman. Not that say that he was faking it because they're called tough men. They don't give they know their hand's broken. They still throwing it. Bam. And inside they're like, but on the outside, they're like this. Let's go. And that could possibly be that's exactly what Sam Goodman was doing. I don't know. If he says he broke his hand in the 4th round, I got to take his word for it. Oh, you broke your hand, but oh, look, he was throwing it. If his hand was broken, he couldn't do that. No. That's not true. That is not true. You could break your hand and still throw it, bro. It just depends on the break. It depends on the fracture. If it's like one of those bad ones, like you can barely, like, if you just go, you're like, and sometimes, punching it and having the pain and it just gets numb. But after, you're going to pay the price for it after. When you take them wraps off and that glove, your hand's going to blow up like this. I can guarantee it's happened to me. Yo, your hand's gonna blow up like that, man. But at some point in the fight, you're just like punching and the adrenaline, and you broke it. You felt it. It even echoed through your body, right? But you want to win. You want to win. You know what I'm saying? I was more pissed than anything. And just keep throwing it. I've never had a broken hand where I was done. Like I was like that kind of break. I've seen those breaks where the guy would hit and he was a tough dude. He just broke it real bad. And he's done. He's done. It's there's different kinds of broken hands. And then there's the one we call like the boxer's fracture. It's like right up here. It's like the bone right in between here, and it pops up like that. Yeah, I've had that happen a few times. Yeah, and only my left hand. My right hand hasn't done that yet. Only my left did it because I hit him on the top of the head right here, and that shit popped open like that. But my knuckles are all pushed back. This one's back here, like you could see the knuckle. Like, let me see if I could get it. It's like right here. See it right here? It's right there. Like I've broken my hands and got teeth here. That's a tooth. That's a tooth. That's 2 teeth right there. That one. Like, so hand injuries are real common like that. It just depends on how you get it. How bad it was. Like I said, I've never broken my hand. I've broken my hands, but not to the. Like I'm saying, I kept throwing it. I was able to throw it, and it was broken. But I've seen where like Mayweather. Remember when Mayweather hit him? Pop! Yo, he didn't throw that shit again. He even went and went like that, started shaking his hand, and then that's when he had to have that surgery. That was a bad break. That was a really bad break. Because Mayweather was a tough dude. He's always been a tough dude. Just before that fight when he broke his hand, go look at his fights. Yo, tough motherfucker. So Naoya Inoue definitely, got a tough fighter on his hand, Sam Goodman. And I'm speaking about his toughness. Maybe he did break his hand and he weathered through the storm. That's a possibility. So and also, you got to give the man, some kind of chance in this fight. You really do. You really do. I feel he's outgunned. I feel he's matched in every way. That's how I feel. I feel that Naoya Inoue, but haven't we ever seen an upset in boxing? Have you ever seen an upset in boxing? Ever in the history of boxing? I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have. So upsets are when you don't think the other guy had any chance. Let a chance alone. Did anybody think Buster Douglas was going to knock out Mike Tyson? If you're from my era, did anybody ever think Buster Douglas could pull that off? Shit happens. I would never. It didn't even cross my mind. But I was still young at that time. I didn't know the things Mike Tyson what was going through his life behind the scenes. You saw the ugly rumors of his divorce and all that shit on TV in 60 Minutes or whatever back then, right? I'm really showing my age, right? But no one thought he was gonna ever. You can't. I don't know nobody that thought that. I've never met him. Oh yeah, I had Buster Douglas the whole way. Yeah, right. Shut up, liar. Right. So that's the beauty of boxing. That anything can happen. Did anybody in this chat right now, in this live stream, did anybody ever think that Luis Pantera Nari was going to knock down Naoya Inoue? Or were you as shocked to see that as I was? That shit shocked me. No. Out of all the fighters Naoya Inoue has come up against, Did I think that it was going to be Luis Pantera Nari, the first one to knock him down? Hell no. Hell no. I would have never. No. I'd be lying if I said that. So shit happens. My coffee's getting cold. Yeah, shit happens, man. And I really think that I'm not I'm saying I'm not going to count Sam Goodman out. He's a professional boxer. He's trying to chase his dreams of becoming a world champion, not just a world champion right now. He has an opportunity, but he has an opportunity to become an undisputed world champion. And if that doesn't wake you up early in the morning, nothing else will. Nothing else will. If that opportunity doesn't get you out of bed early and you leave the gym late, then I don't think you'll have anything else to motivate you in your life in the sport of boxing, because that's got to be the highest honor any boxer can be given an opportunity to fight for. So I know that Sam Goodman is taking this fight serious. I know he understands what this fight could do and how it could change his life. I get it. I get it. I know that Sam Goodman is taking this fight like no other fight. This is his toughest fight in his career, Sam Goodman. This is his toughest opponent, Naoya Inoue, by far. And it's up to you as an opinion to say, is this Naoya Inoue's toughest opponent? Is it? I'm not sure. And I'll just come out and say it. No, I don't think so. But Sam Goodman does have a chance. Yes, he does. And it's unfortunate that, a lot of people don't think that Sam Goodman is up for this fight because he's the most qualified, and I talked about that. And Naoya Inoue came into the weight division, and he completely dominated the weight division, right? And he took out the best fighters first. And now he's kind of going backwards. But make no mistake, just like Tank Davis, right? And his opponent, Roach. Nobody is giving him a chance. And like they're not giving Sam Goodman a chance. Right? And Sam Goodman right now, he's got nothing to lose. Neither does Roach against Tank. They got these men. See, Roach, at least he can go back down to his weight division at 130 and still he's still a world champion. It's not like he's going to lose his belt. Now, Sam Goodman might, take a hit, but you never know what Naoya Inoue's future plans. Shall he be successful past Sam Goodman, right? At 2025, does he jump up to 126 pounds? And who would be his first opponent? Who would you like to see him fight at the 126 first? And who's still going to be champion? As we all know, we have a fight coming up Saturday, and they could be an exchange of the guards once again. There's a very good possibility that Robersi beats Espinoza. Yes, that is a 50-50 fight for me. I don't see any clear winner. I got to give Espinoza his props because he already beat him. When you fight a guy you already beat, you're that much more confident, of what it's going to take to beat that guy. So, how can I say, oh, no, Robersi's going to wipe? Nah, Robersi got his ass kicked last time they met. So, but does Robersi have the skills to beat him? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And this time, I think if he gets him in trouble, hopefully he doesn't let him off the hook, or we could be seeing the same exact fight. Robersi hurts him early, Espinoza weathers the storm, comes back and beats him. You know how sometimes you see a rematch and it's basically the same fight again? Sometimes one of the guys does get knocked out. Rematches, they can go either way. And, but Yeah, and sometimes the rematch won't live up to the first fight. You ever get those rematches where the fight is like a dud compared to the first time they fought? They're a little bit more cautious with each other. They respect each other a little too much. Where that when the first time they came into, they weren't respecting each other and they were rocking sock'em robots, right? But the second time, both guys want to weather the guy's storm or how whatever the way the fight played out, So yeah, definitely. Whenever you fight a guy again, you know him and you're familiar with him that much more. You see, so the one thing with Naoya Inoue, he hasn't ever really, except Donaire, rematched any of the fighters because there's been no need to rematch Naoya Inoue. He wiped these guys down. Nobody has come close of beating him. His all his victories come without controversy. Naoya Inoue victory comes is a clear winner. It's not like, oh, this guy could have won. It was a robbery. You don't hear that with Naoya Inoue. There's boop, knockout, winner. He won. No need for scorecards. You can pack those scorecards. As a matter of fact, the judges, you guys can take 5 at the Naoya Inoue fight. Go have a smoke. You know what I mean? You will not be needed in this fight. So, I mean, he's an amazing fighter, guys. He's an amazing fighter. And I would like, you guys to check him out. December 24th. It's going to be an early fight, New Year's Eve. Make that your Christmas gift to yourself to watch a great fight. A great fight. And if Sam Goodman is anywhere near prepared for this fight as I think he should be, he should give us an interesting fight for as long as it lasts. Hopefully he doesn't become gun shy and like Paul Butler, the way Naoya Inoue really and Paul Butler is a decent boxer, a decent fighter. He's got good punch. He's got knockout power, and he shut that man down. Jason Maloney took a fairly amount a good beating, but Jason Maloney didn't like shy away. He kept trying to box. He did the best he could. I really got to give it to Jason Maloney because he really most of the guys that fight Naoya Inoue, they'll shell up. They'll start like running around backwards. They don't know what to do. But Jason Maloney actually stood his ground and he kept trying. Naoya Inoue just picked them apart. And then he fought him with winning boxing gloves, right? Those boxing gloves are like this big. They got like extra padding. So had he been using like horsehair gloves, Reyes gloves, Naoya Inoue, that night against Jason Maloney, he probably doesn't make it into the later rounds. That's true. And sometimes I don't even speak about that. And I should talk about that because a lot of the guys that made it into like 7, 8, 6 round with Naoya Inoue, it's when he wears those winning boxing gloves that they're extra padded so that he doesn't break his hands because he hits that hard that he'll break his hands. So, he's actually helping out the other guy because it's harder to punch with those gloves on. As you can see, Nonito Donaire fought him the first time with winning boxing gloves on and went 12 rounds. Nonito Donaire complained about the winning boxing gloves and that they were too padded, that he wanted to fight with Reyes gloves, horsehair gloves. So Naoya Inoue said, okay, we'll fight. What happened when they fought with the Reyes gloves? Bro, he almost didn't make it out the first round. You want him to hit with his full power? Okay. Careful what you ask for. He's putting on these winning boxing gloves actually to protect you from his punches. You okay? Oh, you want me to take off the extra pads? Okay, fine. Here, tell me how this feels. He almost took Donaire's head off. Donaire was better off putting on them winning boxing gloves. He probably would have made it further. Guys get real stupid on why this guy is winning, the Japanese dude. Oh, it must be the gloves. It must be because, no, in fact, they're extra padded, but that means they're heavier, so now he hits harder. Yeah, that's what it is. No. If the gloves are more padded, they might weigh a little bit more, and it's more spread out it's concentrated. It weighs the same, but it's more padded to here, so that you're not gonna feel his freaking knuckle. Take that away. See what happens. So that's what happened to Stephen Kubo Fulton. Stephen Kubo Fulton went out there. Oh, hand wraps. It's the way they put tape on the skin. Complaining. How would you like me to do it? Stephen Fulton's coach was like, I would like you guys to put it on like this. Naoya Inoue's team put it on the way they wanted, and he got knocked out just like that. Just like that. Same way. Got knocked out. So, what's up? Ryan versus Devin Haney. Yeah, they that's gonna be the fight of the night. I was just talking about it. Robeisi and Espinoza, Mexican boxing #1. I was just talking about that and shit. I think that's gonna steal the night, that fight. I really do. I think I think it's gonna be better than the main event. In fact, yeah, I think the main event probably gonna be the same fight. If it isn't, and it surprises me, well, then kudos. That means that we'll get a good night of boxing, right? Who wins? Us, the fans, because that means that we'll see a better fight, right? So I hope he surprises us, the fight, because it'll be better for us. But I do think that Robersi and Espinoza is the fight to watch on that card. There's a lot of good fights on that card. We talked about it. But I like that one. And then now Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. If the day comes, if Ryan Garcia can fucking live until tomorrow, what the fuck, man? This kid is always in the news doing something stupid, right? You never know with this guy, right? Like shit. If they fight, what weight are they gonna fight in, you think? You think it's gonna be a 147? You think that's why Bill Haney hinted to the fact that he wants his son to at least fight one guy at 147 before reliving the Ryan Garcia fight? So you think it'll be there, or you think it'll be at like a catch weight at 143? That Devin still wants to stay at 140? Because his father did say that he wanted to go to 140. Have you guys seen that interview? He did say that. So, and I asked him, in fact, on the interview when I was on BF. I was Bill Haney came on the BF, and we were all on, and we all got to ask some questions. And I talked to Bill Haney myself, and I asked him that, in fact, and he alluded to the fact that yes, his son is a possibility. He's going to go up to 147, and I gave you guys some opponents of who I believe Devin Haney could possibly fight. Either a stay active fight or a championship fight, because Devin Haney is championship material. The O is overturned, so the fight basically didn't happen. We know what happened in the ring. Devin Haney's still Devin Haney. Okay? He's a championship fighter. And that's how he views himself. That's how he's going to conduct himself. So the opponents that I gave you guys is because most of them had belts. Out of the 5 men, 4 of them had belts. Conor Benn was the only guy that I said he didn't have belts. I liked him against Mario Barrio, Ken Norton Jr. at 147. Shall he go up? Teofimo Lopez at the 140, and Jose Valenzuela. You could, there's room here. And the other belt, we got Liam Paro and Richard Hitchison jumping off in Puerto Rico. You seen them on the beach in Puerto Rico going back and forth, right? Richard Hitcherson's gonna have to answer to that man in the ring. Liam Paro, he's a lot more skilled boxer than I thought. You know, I only seen the man. Okay, no, two. I saw the Montana Love fight, and I saw the other fight that he had previously to that Montana Love fight. Yes, I did see those with Liam Paro. So, you know, but he was fairly new to me. I didn't think he was going to do that to Sabrel, and he did. So, Richard Hitcherson, for me, he's got his hands full. He's got his hands full. He was on the beach talking that crazy talk, you know? And I don't know exactly who it was that told him, Richard Hitcherson, look forward. Liam Paro's in front of you. Don't talk to the crowd. Forget about what the crowd and his coach is saying. Your fight is in front of you. Keep your eyes on Liam Paro. You know what I mean? And, you know, this is going to be a tough fight in Puerto Rico. I got to see that fight. I just got to see it because, you know, it's tomorrow and I'm going to be jumping back and forth. I got to watch that because Liam Paro and whoever wins in that situation, it shows where the future of the IBF world title at 140, where it is and who's taking it back home. Does that belt go back to Australia or does that belt come back to the US? And when I mean come back to the US, Subria Matias is a US fighter, USA fighter. He represents Puerto Rico, but Puerto Rico, as we all know, is a state of United States. So it'll come back to the US with Richard Hitcherson. You know, so after that fight, that's why I like to see that fight because I want to know how many belts. You know, I keep track of our belts for America, and whether we're winning or losing belts, I report that. So that could be a belt that comes back. So that's important for me. You know, that's why I watch the sport too. I'm a competitor. You know, I want these belts to come back home. So yeah. Australia wants to keep their belt, and it's Australia versus US. That's what it is. And then so now you got also Australia on a different night in December 24th. He's going up against Naoya Inoue. Once again, Australia is going up against Japan. So Australia this month of December got an opportunity to win 5 belts with only 2 fighters. Liam Paro makes a title defense. He keeps his belt, right? Am I right? That's 1 belt. You know, the minute you sign a contract to put your belt up, you are no longer champion. The both of you have opportunities to win it. You see? But, you know, in reality, you know, you are the champion. But in a written binding contract, you're putting that on the line. You both stand to win the belt on that night. You might come into the fight as the champion, but the belt's on the line. You understand? So he wins it, and Sam Goodman has a chance to win 4. That's 5 belts in December for Australia. So that's what Australia is shooting for in the sport of boxing. For Australian boxing, that's what they're competing for this month in December, Australia. Yeah. So, you know, we have some big fights. And as well, we also going to be looking at on the undercard of some of these fights, except Tyson Fury for December. I was going to say all the undercards and start naming them off for December. They're all hot, even. But Tyson Fury's undercard with Usyk is trash. Yeah, it is trash. And that's December 21st. So not all the undercards for December, I was going to say, are big, you know, because we're going to see a lot of top prospects in both those undercards, you know, and the one in Japan is hot too with, the kid, what's his name again? These Japanese names, I got to work on them. I'm sorry. But I'll get it. But that's another hot card. There's some good fighters, welterweight fighters on that card. So, yeah, we have an amazing end of the year to follow, and At the beginning of the year, there's a lot of fights that are, rumored, and now Tanks got pushed back to March and so forth. And you know, uh, where does Tank go from here? I was checking it out last night. I went as far as looking at everybody's scheduled, everyone that fought, everyone that has a fight scheduled, and who's available at the time frame that Tank finishes up this fight with Lamont Roach. The reason why I did that is to kind of give myself a better picture or who possibility Tank could fight next. You hear all these YouTube channels, and they're already throwing out names. He hasn't even gotten past Lamont Roach, right? And I'm saying to myself, okay, did they do their homework too as well? And like, who is going to be available and so forth. And then now you see Shakur Stevenson right away is already rumored to be on this Riyadh season card with Schofield. So it's gonna you that's why I know we're not gonna get that fight next, I don't think. I mean, it could come off of it. It can come off of, but you know how I think. You know how I think, guys. You guys also got to take just 1 or 2 months in consideration that they're going to be suspended after their fight. Typically, what injuries does the fighter sustain in the fight? Do they come out of the fight unscathed? If Shakur can knock him out early and not, take any minimum damage, then yes, I can see the fight happening. But you guys know I've always talked about this. I don't do that fantasy island shit where people have a tendency of saying, well, right after his fight, it was only 3 months, 4 months after, he could have went in. No. You got to take into consideration what did he sustain in that fight? What kind of injuries? What did he look like? And what did the Boxing Athletic Committee suspend him for? Because as we all know, after every fight, the Boxing Athletic Committee issues you a suspension, and that is to protect the fighter from themselves. Because some of these fighters are too tough for themselves. They'll be a split. Oh yeah, next month I'll take the fight. They're like, whoa, nah. You gotta heal, and we don't want you to turn into a freaking vegetable like that. We're gonna suspend you for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Ryan Garcia, when he got punched in the side with Tank Davis, they gave him 6 months suspension. Those ribs must have been really broken. Because remember, Ryan Garcia said that his ribs were broken prior to that. And the guy went and told Tank Davis's team about Ryan's injury. And that's why Tank Davis was aiming at his ribs. Because he already had those. So they were like, you're hard-headed. Take 6 months off. So I always take that into the account. So it's not like that day I could start counting, oh no, he had these many. No, it doesn't work that way. So I don't know how long the suspension is. I don't know what kind of injuries he's going to sustain, and I don't know how the fight's going to play out. So that being said, then Tank's going to fight then in March 1st, right? So the time frame was roughly it could be a possibility, yes, for Shakur. Yeah, it could. Both men being suspended on average 2 months. I give them a 2-month suspension on both sides. Yeah, they could fight. Yeah, they could. Yeah, they could fight. And then, yeah, I keep thinking over the numbers. No, they could fight. William Cepeda got dropped down from the rankings, right? Which they should have done this. He's just not fighting any of the fucking freaking champions, bro. So I guess they got tired of him. 2 sanctioning bodies dropped him down to William Cepeda. What I mean? Keyshawn Davis, literally right before your eyes, hopped right over him for the WBO. And Bob Arum said, I'm not going to play any games. If my guy wants to fight for the belt, Oscar De La Hoya, your guy could have fought for these belts a long time ago. Why hasn't he? So Uncle Bob is not going to wait for you just because you're the number one. Uncle Bob's going to make his move for what he believes his guy. As a matter of fact, Uncle Bob has the WBO title. So it's like an in-house fight. So he wins. And meanwhile, William Cepeda, all these opportunities are literally going right by him. I don't know what's up with that guy. No more. I would stick up for William Cepeda all the time because he's a good fighter, man. William, he's like he's exciting, right? He's not gonna give you a boring fight. William Cepeda is gonna like throw almost 100 punches around type shit, right? So I like to see him fight. But now I'm on the side where I'm like, what the fuck is going on, dude? What's really going on with William Cepeda? Is he really like a duck like that? A man, so what I consider to be one of the toughest Mexican fighters, at least among Mexican fighters. And Mexican fighters ain't no bums, bro. At least the top ones. Even the middle ones are hard to knock off. Them dudes can take ass whoopings, bro, and come back. They tough. And I saw a Farmer drop him, yeah. And I saw Farmer's accusations about William Cepeda and being like, yo, we didn't get steroid tested. And Farmer is on the interview saying, I legitimately went down to the steroid place. Like, I don't know if he really like did it or called or whatever. I'm not, I'm adding that like he walked down there and shit. But he went to them is what he said. And he said, I went to the, I contacted them, like he said. And he said, I want to volunteer a sample. Because everybody else on the card is being tested except me and William Cepeda. So Farmer said, I would like you to test me. And they told him, yeah, we'll test you. Look, it's 3:00 now. Why don't we call you? We'll set it up this week and we'll test you. The fight's over with and they still haven't called them. Farmer. And that's like you going to tell them like, yo, like I want to be tested, right? I don't know. Maybe they said if a guy calls us, maybe that speaks to him being clean. You're not supposed to take his word for it, right? And then everybody will call, hey, I want and then that means they won't test you. Like, no, you're not supposed to do that, right? So I found that peculiar. Then it made me think, wait a minute. Where do they test you the most? All championship fights must be tested. Whenever there's a world title on the line, there has to be a testing that's mandatory in a world title fight. Every other fight, it's random. If they test you, sometimes you can go 3-4 fights straight without being tested not once. I've seen that 1,000 times in boxing. A lot of those lower fights that are not world title fights, you can move around the testing. But when it's a world title fight, it's basically mandated. Watch any world title fight. They come out with the gauze and that piece of tape on their head. Right after the fight, on the post-fight interview after the fight, they take their blood and their urine for a world title fight. Watch Anthony Joshua's arm after every fight. All those fights for titles. Yeah. And then that made me think, is that why William Cepeda doesn't fight for a world title fight? Because you get tested? And I'm not saying that he is, but it just made me go, I got no proof of that. William Cepeda could be a clean fighter. I have no proof that he isn't, but it made me, I was like, how did you get to being the number one contender in 4 major sanctioning bodies without competing for a belt? That's virtually unheard of in today's era. What the fuck is that? And then I was like, wait a minute. When Farmer said that, and that's when the light bulb in my head went bing. I was like, whoa. And the fact that Farmer's saying this, and then now I start to go back and watch other fighters that fought against William Zepeda and the things that were being said prior to some of these situations, I was just like, But, maybe that's all just bullshit, hate talk. And William Zepeda is a clean fighter. And when he fights for a world title, he goes out there and throws 100 punches in the round. What the fuck are they going to say about him then? But that's what he needs to do to shut up the critics. And when people challenge you in your career about situations like this, that's when you as a fighter, you need to step up, and either do some damage control or prove it with these. When they said Naoya Inoue had hand wraps, he said, oh yeah, show me how you want it. Boom, knocked him out. It's not the hand wraps. You were standing right there and the way you liked him and you agreed to him and signed off on him. That's how you wrap your hands. Let's go. And he knocked him out like that. So it wasn't the hand wraps. He proved that theory, debunked that theory. No, it's his power. That's a fighter shutting up the naysayers. That's a fighter proving the critics wrong. That's how you do that. Naoya Inoue is in world title fights. After he gets out of the ring, after every fight, blood work. Trying to say my man's on steroids. Fuck out of here. He ain't never failed a drug test. Never. After every one of his fights, coming into 22 consecutive world title fights in a row, all blood work. Not a problem. That's how you debunk these naysayers and liars. Talk about steroids. No, dude. Pass. Bro. But anybody can say anything. But that's how you prove them wrong. So that's how I feel William Zepeda could definitely prove the naysayers wrong by taking the fight, doing the blow, etc. And throwing the 100 punches, his typical performance, win, lose, or draw. As long as he looks like William Zepeda, then I can honestly say, but you can see it when a person's performance drops. And all of a sudden he's fighting in a title fight and he doesn't look like he was looking. Then what do they say? Oh, I had problems in my training. I wasn't able to train well. I had hemorrhoid surgery. You know what I'm saying? And, my cat's uncle's brother, sister's cousin's dog died. So, that affected me. Every excuse in the book, but what the elephant in the room is. No, motherfucker, it looks like you were on performance enhancement drugs your entire career. And when it got up to the title fight, you couldn't take your drugs anymore. You look like shit. But nobody's going to admit that. And since nobody really has proof about that, you can't definitively come out and say that about a fighter. But your gut feeling and what you see, and, me being around a lot of gyms and being around a lot of fighters, growing up in a fighting household, my dad being a boxer, my friends growing up were world champions, Jose Rivera. You guys see his brother come on my show all the time. Like, we ate at the same house. He lived in my house with my brother. He was my friend. He's a world champion. Like, these are the guys I grew up around, so being around these kind of guys and stuff, and these are the experiences that I have that I can definitively say this. I've seen this before, and in boxing circles, we're like, but you just can't come out and accuse a guy. But we know. You know what I'm saying? So, Jonathan, what's up, baby? How you doing? Mark in the building. What you got to say, Mark? Rosa again fighting what? Yes. Wow, he even said he was great back then. Wow. Yeah, that's them. So, like, when we talk about a person's opportunity and moments, as an athlete, These are probably moments I sat in my room and I dreamed about. If I had my chance and I was in boxing, I know that all I would ever think of, shit, I can't even box now. I'm of age. I'm too old, a little too old for that now. But that's all I think about. And when you think about opportunity and the men and women that did it before you, and the opportunity that you can represent your country, there's no bigger honor. There's no bigger honor. If that's where you're from, just think about that. Sit here and think about that. That your country, you can represent your country and bring the belts back home and be revered as a hero. They'll give that man a hero's welcome from those 4 belts. You think, what kind of parade do you think they'll throw Sam Goodman? They'll shut down the city. He'll get the key to the city for that shit. Defeating Japan's huge champion and hero such as Naoya Inoue. Think about that for a second. That you can look back at your life and say, man, I had my whole city, my whole country on my back. Everybody, all eyes were tuned in on me. And my country came to bat for me. Maybe Sam Goodman is not that kind of Australia superstar where the entire country, but if he wins this fight, I bet you right after that they will. He would definitely have to win this fight in order to get that kind of recognition, but that's what comes with it. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. The opportunity to represent your country, bro. And the legacy you can leave behind. He pulls that off. The next day, how many doors are going to be open for Sam Goodman's mom, brothers or sisters or dad? Hey, excuse me, Mr. Goodman. How you doing? Your son's a world champion, yes? Undisputed, yes? Oh, let me get that for you, Mrs. Goodman. How you doing? Yes, your son gets Sam Goodman. Tell him that I said hi. Tell him I said hi. If you can, could you have him sign this for me? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know the respect you give to your family? Where your name gets written down as their athletes in Australia? Are you freaking kidding me? This is an opportunity of a lifetime. You got to seize the moment. Whether or not you believe Sam Goodman can pull this off, ask Sam Goodman if he thinks he can pull it off. Ask him. Yeah. I think he thinks he has a chance, and he should. He should bet on himself. I would. Listen, if I had this opportunity, I'd go in the ring in the first round. I'd jump on Naoya Inoue like a spider monkey. Yeah, I'd be all over him. Yo, all over him like a gremlin. You know what I mean? Yo, I don't know what I would do fighting somebody like that, but you know, you got to give it a try. You can't shy away from shit like this. This is when life calls you and steps up, and the word of the day is like when the chips are down, when everybody's against you and your back's against the wall and nobody believes you can do it. What kind of man are you? What are you made of? And we talked about this. Growth is when you recognize that you've done something for a long time. You might be ashamed or embarrassed and you look back or reflect on something and say, maybe you didn't go about that the wrong way, the right way. Maybe you went about that the wrong way and you see a different way now. Growth is not growth in your life is not ignoring that. And people say, "Oh, you're just a talker. You talk about this. You ain't did shit, right?" You hear it, right? And you're like, "So yeah, in the past I have been. I acknowledge that. And now I'm going to be a doer." When your back's against the wall and the chips are down, that's what I'll tell you you're made of. When everything in your life is going good, everything's going good. I'll tell you who you are when shit's going bad. And you find ways to flip that shit and make it work out for you and and you come out on top. You know? Not every time everything can be going good. This episode is based on when the chips are down, you know, when nobody believes in you. Sam Goodman, he has a he has a pretty big task in front of him. You know, could Australia pull this off? We'll see December 24th, won't we? We'll get our answer. Japan is fairly confident in the man that they have in Naoya Inoue, and why shouldn't they be? The man is a very, very, very accomplished fighter. He's a great champion. He's considered as one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world. I don't know where you got him on your top 3, but I know that's exactly where he should be. He should never be any lower. You know, whether you want to put Usyk, Crawford, than him, all right. You guys know how I feel about heavyweight champions on a pound for pound list. I don't. We talked about that. You shouldn't put a heavyweight champion on a pound for pound list. He's already king. You don't put a king on a list. By default, he has the most prestigious belt in all of boxing. Why the fuck are you putting him on the list when the pound for pound list was invented to give the lower weight division eyes because the king was the king? So I would never put Usyk on a list. He's already king. That's how I feel. So it would, in actuality, is where you put Naoya Inoue, Terrence Crawford, and who else you got in your third slot. Whether you think it's Demetrius Bivol, Arthur Benavidez, you might even consider Tank Davis. You maybe you don't consider Tank Davis because you don't feel that he fought any champions. And by that merit, you don't. But a pound for pound list is really supposed to be about skill, and it is about opponents. It is. We've seen padded records. 33 fights, 33 knockouts, and he gets in with this guy and gets knocked out. He's been 33 fights in this freaking country in the corner of the earth. Like the competition wasn't, so we've seen padded records before. So it is also based on the men that you fight against. It is. And then skill like that and so forth, ring generalship, your footwork, everything. You have to be measured as a complete fighter. You can't have flaws in different areas. You got to be least be up, like that. So, yeah. And it just depends who you got in your second or in your third slot. That's opinionated. But I know you have to have Naoya Inoue in there, wherever way you want to do it. He's not going under 3. So, and the only 2 men that can come into question is Terrence Crawford and Usyk. Those are the only 2 men that can come into question. And in actuality, in reality, I've already said this. Naoya Inoue's record is better than both of those men. Yeah, it's just better. Knockout wise percentage, Terrence Crawford just didn't knock out his last guy. Usyk doesn't have a knockout streak like that to even be brought up in the conversation. And Usyk hasn't completed the amount of weight divisions Naoya Inoue has. Terrence Crawford just tied him. But when it comes to what separates, I would think, Naoya Inoue and Terrence Crawford is activity. That's where Naoya Inoue separates himself from Terrence Crawford. Other than that, I believe both their competitions has been good. It would be hard to but it's because Naoya Inoue is fighting more frequently than Terrence Crawford. And if you fight more, you're taking more risk. So the odds of you being beat, every man has an opportunity to beat you. So if you're only fighting once a year, and this time you think he got 2 fights within a year. I'm not sure if he managed to squeeze it in. I think he did, right? You're just not fighting enough where that Naoya Inoue fought, what was it? July, and Terrence fought in June or something. They were like right around the corner from each other. And since then, Naoya Inoue fought 3 times till only his one. And then we kept going. Then he finally fought Ishmael. So then that was Terrence 2. Naoya Inoue is going on his 5th fight since the Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. He's going on his 5th fight. Terrence Crawford has 2. That's why you got to respect that. And then the level of guys that he's fighting. See, like, okay, Terrence Crawford fought Errol Spence for 3 belts. His next fight was for 1 belt and an interim. You know, we'll acknowledge the interim, the WBO, because it was there, right? So we're gonna acknowledge that. So his next fight was for the WBO and the WBA, you know, like that. Okay. For Terrence Crawford. Naoya Inoue fought Stephen Kubo Fulton, 2 belts. Marlon Tapales, 2 belts. Luis Pantera Nari, the number 1 contender. Uh, and then what was it? TJ Doheny, the number 2 contender. And now he's gonna fight Sam Goodman, right? Am I missing somebody here? I feel like I'm missing somebody in the way. No, it was definitely uh Marlon Tapales, Stephen Kubo Fulton, and I believe after Marlon Tapales, he fought. Yeah. No, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 fights. 4, and then this one, Sam Goodman, is 5. Yeah. Okay, so this, yeah. All right, so Sam Goodman marks the 5. So yeah, so that's why activity is key, is key, and that's the only reason why I would give it to him over Terrence Crawford, because both fighters in their own right have accomplished so much, and Terrence Crawford is just a freaking force to be reckoned with as well. He's showing no signs of slowing down in his own right, and his accomplishments were just up there, just with the Japanese superstar. So it's just activity. That's all. But you can place them 1 or 2. And since Terrence Crawford is fighting in a much bigger weight division, with bigger size guys, typically the typical fan will give it to him on that side of the nod, because that's where I've talked about this, where the much smaller guy always has to do twice the work to get recognized. And I think that that's wrong. I think that's wrong. You know, it shouldn't be that way. It should be what you do is what you do. You know, so I'm not on the side where just because Terrence Crawford's bigger and he's fighting bigger guys, that should just award him what status over him because they're bigger size guys. No, absolutely not. It's what you do in your weight division and how many fights you have in between, and that's it. And if we're looking at it like that, objectively fair and square, Naoya Inoue is number 1 pound for pound best fighter currently today. Yes, he is. And Terrence Crawford's number 2. Absolutely. That's just the truth. Yeah, he doesn't have enough fights. But yeah. Hopefully Terrence Crawford gets in there and he's at least Terrence Crawford is trying to do the 3 division thing now. He's got a belt. We talked about it. That Jamel Charlo situation, that I'm hearing that's going to get cleared up. I got another video that I'm going to make on that. So I'm holding on talking about it. I'm actually waiting for a phone call, actually, for somebody to tell me one thing, right? Because I started talking about it with some of my guys about that Terrence Crawford situation and the belt and Jamel Charlo and Champion and Recess. So I'm going to have an answer for you for that. Okay. So just give me a little while, right? Okay. So, but at least Terrence Crawford's trying to go in right now and become 3-time undisputed. He's on the hunt. And I would love for him to pursue that avenue rather than going up and fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez, which I don't want to see. I don't want to see that fight. A lot of people are talking about that fight like that's the greatest fight. I think that's the greatest sham in all of boxing, bro. And fucking these guys got the boxing world and a lot of fans um believing in that fight. And I think that's such a horrible um mistake. Having Terrence Crawford jump up 3 weight divisions. Where is the last time you seen a Superman like that? Didn't you just witness that with Jamel Charlo there? And how horrible he looked trying to pull some goofy shit like that off? You just want to embarrass my champion, Terrence Crawford, Mexico. You just want to bring him up there to do some Superman shit just for he could fail. And you guys are going to laugh about it, Mexico. And you guys think that I'm stupid. That's damn near impossible to do. And then you're going to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez in his natural weight at 168 where he's the best. And you're going to have an overweight, slow-ass Terrence Crawford in his late age, which is way older than Saul Canelo Alvarez, which is Saul Canelo Alvarez is all of 34 years old. And Terrence Crawford's 37. You want all the fucking favoritism, all the attributes on Saul Canelo Alvarez's side. That's the only way you're going to fight my guy? And you think I'm cool with it? You think I'm blind by the fact, oh, let's start judging the fight. And Terrence Crawford is so skilled. I don't give a fuck about his skill. I want to address the cheating going on. You think you're going to blind me just because Terrence Crawford is skilled? And he does have the opportunity of beating him. Because I think Terrence Crawford is fucking good. I'm not sure if he's going to Mayweather that ass like Mayweather did, right? But no, before I address the fight, let's address the elephant in the room. How that all the benefits are on Saul's side. None on Terrence Crawford. And you want me to ignore that? You want me to just buy into the fight? Just because it's Terrence Crawford's name, like every other casual boxing fan. Well, I'm not a casual boxing fan. And I'm calling bullshit on that fight. Hell no. I don't want that fight. You're cheating Terrence Crawford, bro. That's not a fair fight. You want to make a fair fight? Then bring Saul down a little. Make it a catchweight fight. Now we're talking. Now I'll take that fight. But fuck you. If you want Terrence Crawford to go to 168, why does he have to blip him? Yo, Saul's coming in fresh in his division, bro. And everybody seems to be blind by that. Oh, no, Terrence Crawford's skill. Bro, boxing don't work that way. One man or two men in the history of the sport pull that off, and all of a sudden you're attaching him to them like he can do it. But all the thousands of men that try to do that all failed. Great fighters all failed. Bro, he's got a better chance, Terrence Crawford, of hitting the lottery in his city without playing a ticket. Without buying a ticket. They went, hey, yo, Terrence Crawford, you hit the lottery. I didn't play the lottery. You still hit it. I'll take those odds rather than the odds with Saul. That's just, there's no Superman. No one in the history of sports has ever done some shit like that. You can't, when you're a heavyweight champion of the world and the other heavyweight guys come in 50 pounds over you, the problem with that theory and these guys that are in the lower weight division, you know why that doesn't work for the guys in the lower weight division, but it does work for the heavyweights? Because after a certain weight, like 125, 20 pounds, everything else is just dead after that. It really doesn't count. You're not going to punch any harder. You're not going to be any, you know what I'm saying? After a certain size, that punch is going to be that punch. And so the 50 pounds is actually just hurting that guy. It's not going to play a factor at that size. Those size humans, after a certain, that's why we all know this. That's why the weight division after that, they're like, bro, you can come in 300 pounds. It's not going to matter. Not in the heavyweights. That's why heavyweights don't cut weight. But when you're fighting in these weight divisions and you're accustoming your body to fight at a certain weight, when you move up like that, your body's not going to move. You've been fighting as a heavyweight, fluctuating your weight through with every fight. Every fight for a heavyweight champion, they don't weigh the same. They come in pounds off here, down here, up here, down. That's been their whole career. They fought like that. But you mean to tell me you're going to get a guy that's been in one weight division, maintaining that weight, and he's going to have no problem? That's where the bullshit happens. And where people in their head think, oh, but wait a minute, this heavyweight didn't have a problem with 50 pounds, but you guys are complaining about 4 pounds. That's why it doesn't work. That's why those 4 pounds are everything. And those 50 pounds don't even count. They don't even count. Because after a certain size, you going out, baby. Boop. It doesn't matter. We know that. So, nah. They cheating Terrence Crawford, bro. And they trying to dress it up real nice. They got even Terrence Crawford himself thinking, I can do this. I fucking hate that, bro. These motherfuckers always got to cheat, man, to beat my guy. They can't ever beat the American slick style on the up and up when we're doing it at our best. When the American slick style is performed at the highest level, they can't beat us. They can't beat us. So they got to cheat us to beat us. And then they got to dress it up nice. Like, oh, don't you want to see Saul and Terrence fight? Saul, deny the fight first. Make them boost it up. Make them think. Bro, that is damn near impossible to do. Mayweather himself never did no shit like that. Mayweather moved up gradually. Not one jump. 3 weight. Get the fuck out of here, bro. They always got to cheat, man. Always. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not blind. I'm not a casual. I'm not blind. You're not going to dress it up to me and make it think that that's an even fight. That's not even, bro. And it's not even remotely fair. But you guys are like, oh, talking about it. Oh, he'll beat him. Yo, don't even talk about fighting. Talk about the cheating going on. You want to see this fight? Tell Saul to come down. He's got to come down a little. You got to give some, and my man got to put some. But you be comfortable in your own way. Come on, guys. I know you guys are not blind. I know you guys can see this. And if you can, then I pointed it out. Thank God you're here at Round One Sports Talk. Well, we don't take the bullshit. Let's go. Huh? We don't play that shit. We're pointing out the truth. You guys are not making it fair for him. So, unless he comes down, that's not a fair fight, and I don't want to see it. Because I think you're cheating my guy. And I'll speak up for Terrence Crawford when they got him blind. And most of the people in the world blind because of 2 big names. Fuck the names. Let's talk about fair competition. Let's talk about what's right. Trying to blind me with the names. Oh, Saul, and oh yeah, I want to get it. No. You're not pulling a fast one on me. I've been around too long. Yeah. What? Naoya anyway has addressed this. Anything like that. What was I talking about that you came in and said that right there? What was I talking about? So what was I saying? Naoya Inoue addressed this. He never said anything like that. Who never said anything like that? What was I talking? Because I know you probably answered a question of probably something I said up there, and I'm trying to catch or remember what I said. So if you can help me out with that, if you're still here, drop it down. That way I can, get and answer your question. I would like to answer what you have to say. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. As a matter of fact, let me see if I could drop the link and anybody wants to join and share this morning anything about boxing news. If you know anything, if you would like to talk about anything, debate anything, I'll give you an opportunity to come on and share your feelings. If you want to share your feelings on the Naoya Inoue situation, what I was just talking about Terrence Crawford, anything. You want to talk about Devin Haney, Tank Davis, any of the guys on the on the on the on the Riyadh card. Also Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez. We got that card. We could talk about anything. So I just dropped it. Oh, got somebody right here. Hold on. Hold on. No, 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 no. That's me. Okay. I had Sam Goodman's thing, and I looked, and it was Sam Goodman's picture. I was like, Sam Goodman's on my show? Oh, shit. I almost freaked out. I was like, is that Sam Goodman? And I had him up when I was talking about his situation earlier. Yeah. So, yeah, man. I think that um, this fight right now in Japan, after everything is said and done here, right? I think that negotiation or even more talks are going to conclude with Junto Nakatoni. I know that they said that they were going to wait for the Sam Goodman fight to finish to conclude because the top rank, you know, remember I talked about it. They had put out that initial statement saying that they were trying to occupy the Tokyo arena for a potential fight with Naoya Inoue in um, 2025. Somewhere in the beginning of that, and that the name that they were occupying the arena was going to be for Junto Nakatoni and Naoya Inoue, um, and if they could have a potential fight, because it doesn't seem like any of the champions want to fight Junto in 118. You know, um, other speculations and rumors and other things where, of course, a lot of fans. I don't think it was necessarily the fighters or promoters, but more like YouTube channels and fans saying they would like to see Bam Bam Rodriguez come up. And that's another case where I wouldn't want that fight like that. I would like Bam Bam to gradually work his way up. I wouldn't want to see Bam Bam jump from 115 to 122 and try to fight Naoya Inoue. I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't accept that because you'd be cheating Mexico. And it wouldn't be cheating Mexico because if he took the fight, he would. You can't, don't be that. Think that you're superhuman, man. That Bam, you got to realize that wouldn't be good for you because you'd be going up there like that, and like Terrence Crawford, like you got to chill out. That's three. Bam Rodriguez would be jumping up two, and I wouldn't want that fight. No, I would rather him gradually, even if he had other fights in the division, just to prove that he could fight with these guys as he moves up. You're asking a lot for these guys. These are not just your average fighters. The guys that we've been talking about, if you haven't noticed, are the elite of the elite, the best of the best. Saul Canelo Alvarez is one of the greatest fighters we have of today. I understand who Terrence Crawford is. Yeah, but these ain't no like simple dudes. These guys are real, the best of the best. So when you're taking Bam Bam Rodriguez and putting him in with possibly the number one best fighter in the world, Naoya Inoue, I don't like that. He's not just an average fighter. If you were talking about anybody else, I'd be like, Bam might be able to do it. But we're talking about these guys. No, No. I'd rather Mexico got a great fighter in Bam Rodriguez, and you shouldn't put him and put that kind of pressure on him. Let Bam Rodriguez develop in his own weight class as a fucking champion. Maybe he could be undisputed champion for Mexico. Allow that man to grow down there. Fuck that, bro. Mexico, don't push your guy, bro. Back your dude up and let him stay right there and dominate. If he can't get the fights, move up maybe one weight division, if you want to start in that trajectory going up. There's a lot of Japanese fighters at 118 that are champions. In fact, there's 4 of them. So, I don't want to see them fucking fuck with Mexico's fighter like that. Bam Rodriguez is the shit, and I won't accept that shit. No, fuck that. I don't like them pressure fights like that and pushing these guys to the limits. And let them be great in their own fucking divisions, bro. I think Bam Rodriguez wanted to fight Chocolito anyway, so he probably got some fights. He needs to stop fighting these older dudes and get some of these younger dudes in and fucking solidify the kind of fighter that I know that you are, Bam Rodriguez. You are fucking great and special. And Mexico got a real one in Bam Rodriguez right there, bro. You're damn right they do. So I like him in a lot of ways, and hats off to Mexico and a lot of their champions, and fucking right, bro. But nah, I don't like them gimme fights, bro, when they don't want to bring up the disadvantage. But I do. I talk about it. I talk about reality. So yeah. Yeah, that's what they say, Cardine. Him moving up and coming to America next year. That was the plan. Then all of a sudden, I saw Naoya Inoue with a Riyadh season shirt on with the fucking the prince there, Turkey Al Sheikh, and all this money. All I saw was Turkey Al Sheikh throwing money, and now he Inoue like this. Yo, this is my new best friend. Just throwing money. So money changes shit, Cardine, right? Tell me that the money won't change shit. He might not be fighting in the United States. He might be fighting across seas. I don't know. Maybe Turkey Al Sheikh gives us the fight in the United States. It doesn't mean that Turkey's taking all the fighters and bringing them over there. Let's just remember why all this shit started, and Turkey took the fight over there anyway. Let's just all remember why fights kicked off over there, and they had to build a fucking arena, because the first fighter to fight over there was Tyson Fury. His visa has been taken away from him and his passport. He can't come to America. Him, his father, his brother, all of them, they can't come to America. So they had to build a ring out there. Let's just all remember this. That is the only reason why fights started kicking off over there. Once they built the ring, they were like, well, we could have other fights. And then the rest of the fights, the Saudi prince left them in America. He made big fight cards, and he's pushing them out in America. And now that they built the ring, well, maybe we could have fights out here. But that was all because Tyson Fury couldn't fight anywhere else. That's why. And the Saudi prince wanted to see that heavyweight championship fought, and that he bought himself a heavyweight championship fight. He didn't buy the outcome of the fight. He just wanted them to compete naturally. But who the fuck does that? How much money could you possibly have if you had that much money and been like, suppose you love the fighter, right? Whoever your favorite fighter is. Like mine would be one like Naoya Inoue, right? Or Terrence Crawford or Tank or any one of those guys, right? I'd be like, just sitting at home. Terrence Crawford, yeah, you're going to fight for me in my backyard. I'm going to build a ring, and I'm going to have people come off from all around the world to see us. I'm that rich. I can pull off an event like that. I'm going to pay you mad money. I'm going to pay your opponent mad money. You guys are going to be happy. Go in there, fight for me and my family and everything. And I want to see you fight in my backyard. That's basically what he did. How much money is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's fucking money, right? So, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know where I want to say yes. Bob Arum's going to stay to his word. Uncle Bob there, when Bob says something, typically it goes down the way the Bob father there. I got no reason to doubt him. If Bob Arum says that, then and it came out of Bob Arum's mouth himself. He said, one more fight and we go in the United States of America. The monster's coming to the U.S. And I know Bob wants to introduce one of his greatest fighters to the American public, the movie star, the athlete, where all the money's really made. You think these guys are selling out these huge ass arenas over there. They're like, look at that. 30,000 people, 50,000 people, but the tickets were $50, $100, $200, $500 for the first row. That's where the tickets were. You go to Las Vegas, one ticket for front row, $15,000, $25,000, $50,000 front row seats. You want to sit next to the celebrities? Maybe $100,000. So you sell one seat in Las Vegas, you probably filled up the entire section in that fucking big ass theater that you got. Yeah, you filled up a lot of tickets, but that's not Las Vegas money. Movie stars, actors, celebrities, sports, athletes, they're all coming. They're going to all be sitting next to each other. Those tickets don't cost $500, bro. Nor do they cost $5,000. That's a different price zone. The $5,000 tickets are usually in the suites at those kind of fights and shit. Like, I paid $1,200 for my suite for me and my son. So, and that was like for a freaking USC event with Sean O'Malley in Boston. Remember I did the video, I was in the suite. We had like the catering, we had our own bathroom. We didn't have to get up and go to the bathroom. I had it real nice. Me and my son, we were there. My son took me to that. Yeah. And so I can imagine what it's like to be at like one of the biggest fights in the fucking world. That Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, those kind of big fights like that. Those days with Floyd Mayweather, they might be over, but these guys are making their way, definitely. Jackie, what's up? What you got to say? Jesus Christ is writing on my channel. Hello, Jesus. Yo, you guys do know that Jesus was Puerto Rican, right? His name was Jesus. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? He got the curls and the chacletas on. How much more evidence do you need? How much more evidence do you need? Yo, Bam Bam, perdido, where have you been? Let me see what Jesus is saying first. I think I read somewhere Naoya's team was in talks about next year fight would be in the U.S., then Saudi. Oh, then Saudi would be the U.S., then Saudi. That's what you think you heard their team talk about? And then Japan again. So it would be, you're saying that you heard somewhere that they were going to the U.S., then Saudi, then back to Japan. Okay. What's up, Bam Bam? Man, Bam, está perdido, huh? Cheating on us, going on other channels, I bet. You know what I'm saying? No. Bam's a little cheater. I think I'm looking up right now. I wanted to look up. I don't think I'm going to find it right away. I didn't save I was going to put up there was an article that was published by Top Rank a little whiles ago. The COO of Top Rank issued this in one of his things. I know that I had it. I might have it written down in one of my notes. Brian Jacobs. Brian Jacobs is the one that said They were looking to occupy the Tokyo Arena top rank, right? To make it for a Junto Nakatoni fight, right? In the summer or the fall. They were looking for April or in the fall, and those were the dates they were trying to occupy it for, because they also understand that the Tokyo Arena is occupied by their sports events in Japan. So they got to work around that. But yes, in fact, I have it right here. That let me see. September 3rd, 2024, last fight. That was for okay, yeah, yeah. All right. Oh, and then also as well, right? It was rumored that the co-main event on that fight, Yoshika, and then his opponent was yet to be announced. So, like I said, there are a lot of moving parts in boxing. We know that these guys do try to put these fights together and they're trying to get these things, but sometimes you can't get the venue or the one you want because there's these venues are booked. There's a lot of things in Las Vegas that Las Vegas is booked for like freaking 10 years. It would be real hard for someone to get in, and because they typically have the events that they sign. Every now and then there's an event that falls through and maybe the slot will open up and they'll give you a call. There's these guys pick these dates sometimes for certain reasons. Sometimes they really don't care what date it is. But in cases like Saul Canelo Alvarez, which we all know he only fights on his Mexican holidays or whatever the case may be when he started doing that. And so some of these venues and stuff, they know that, particular times and for particular reasons, So yeah. Um, I don't know why they made the fight Naoya Inoue a day before Christmas. All of us are buying Christmas gifts. I hope they don't do that when he starts fighting on pay-per-view, because they we might not be able to buy the fight. Oh well, my daughter will understand. She just won't get those extra gifts, because we gotta see Naoya Inoue. No, baby, no, baby. She'll get her gift. You know what I mean? Yeah, I gotta see a fight. You know what I mean? Nah, but Naoya in a way, definitely. Like I said, we talked about it. I think that Bob will stay true to his word. I do know that the Saudis are stepping in. They paying him all those $1 million to represent them. Put on his shirt and shit, and be like an ambassador to boxing, representing Riyadh season. That's kind of like what they got him, like kind of like an ambassador type thing. So yeah, yeah, definitely. So we'll see. RC, what's up, fam? How you doing, brother? In the building. Yeah, so and then guys, we have the beginning of the year. We're gonna be having some of these big fights coming around because David the Monster Benavidez and David Morrell is gonna kick off the year. And then March we got Tank Davis, the return of Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. A lot of people were talking about their post-fight interview and how broke it looked for Tank Davis. That they was like, "Yo, this shit." What they have it like in a college or something or some shit like that. Like the promotioning for the fight, they was getting criticized. But I was saying, well, you don't want to throw a lot of money when we're at those kind of press conference when we're 3 months out. As we get closer, then you throw the bigger ones, right? Why would you, spend the budget on that? And then it also comes to speak to how Tank Davis is asking for so much money that they don't got it in the budget. They don't got it in the budget to make these kinds, on both ends. Because typically on a Saul one, 3 months out in the fight, they'll have like big, big, big ones. Remember when like Mayweather and Saul went around the country 3 months before the fight? Those shits were huge. Like that's what they expect from Tank Davis fights. And as you could see, it was like some Mickey Mouse shit held in a freaking, college auditorium type shit, right? So that's where people are starting to say, like, what's going on here? With Tank Davis's situation. Is he being too greedy? Is he taking too much from the pie? And not giving Lamont Roach, is Tank asking for too much? That's why this fight got pushed back so much. You know what I mean? And has Tank been really, does he really have this prime deal? I'm not calling Tank Davis a liar, but it doesn't seem like he's making that kind of money. And then he's hinting to the fact that, oh, I'm going to retire 2025. How the hell can you retire if you signed the contract for 6 fights? You would have to honor that contract. You can't retire out of the sport. What are you going to fight 5 times in 2025 or 4 times? Well, no, he has to fight 5 times in 2025 because he only has 1 fight in that prime deal, allegedly, for this year. Those other 2 other fights weren't allegedly under that prime contract. Only that Frank the Ghost Martin one was. That's when he announced it. So he has 5 more fights. How the hell are you retiring? You're gonna fight 5 times in 2025, or you're letting it out the bag little by little, Tank, that you never locked down that prime deal. In fact, you never locked it down. And if you want to see what I feel about Tank Davis's situation, please go watch yesterday's live stream. The one I did yesterday. Go check that one out. And or was it? Yeah, in the morning show. Go check that out. And I really talk about Tank Davis's situation, what I feel about that, because I wonder what else is going on in Tank's world that I really don't know about. I could see his frustration with the sport. I talk about how he has to take accountability for some of it, for some of this, because it is some of Tank Davis's fault. Now these guys are not just bending the knee, jumping up to fight him when he needs them in a real premier time in his career. He actually needs these fights now. And now he seems not to be getting them. He's getting frustrated. You could see his frustration, and he's like, I want to quit, and he's pouting, and but yeah, definitely. What's up, Jesus? What you guys talking about? Eric, what's up? Excuses. People don't know what they be talking about. What they don't know what they be talking about. But that was for a reason. This fight a lot deeper than some. Which fight are we talking about? The Tank Davis fight? Or because I was talking about a few of them, and sometimes I can't. It must be the Tank Davis fight, right? Oh, great fight, Davis and Davis. Okay, I'm gonna need Eric to just let me know where you're at in the conversation. How far do I go back? I don't want to you know how sometimes we're doing these interviews and I'll read like a text message and I'll be thinking it's about the thing I'm talking about and it was about something else, and the conversation and shit gets mixed up in translation because you guys are like 4 or 5 seconds behind me from when I'm talking. I noticed that. So yeah, just let me know and I'll be glad to answer anything. Um, and you guys know that the link is down. It's a restream link, just like StreamYard. You don't have to sign up to it or nothing. Just log into it, click it under the link that I dropped, and you'll come right in. If you want to share anything, we're here. We can talk about it. What's up, Jesus? Right. I mean, if Tank really had the Prime deal, yeah. Yeah, you can't quit if you have a deal active. They'll sue the shit out of you. And you guys know about this because I talked about it. Tank owes like $3.6 million in taxes right now. I don't know if that number is accurate, the number I'm throwing out there, but from all the numbers I heard, it's somewhere in there. I'm not in the room, but I know he owes these taxes. So if he owes millions of dollars in taxes, where are you going? You know how much money it costs for that Ferrari? Your mom's car, your mom's house payments, your payments. You're going to go where? Where are you going? Yeah, He's got to get rid of this tax situation. He's going to court for it. I forget what day it was, but he's already getting on going to court. Yeah. Oh, Tank fight with Roach. Yeah. He's got a call out coming. Yeah. But fuck the call out. You got to get past your opponent first. When he whispered in that guy's ear, like a little 5-year-old kid, talk about blah, 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 I got a call out. Yeah, that's great. But why couldn't you get the fights that we have? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. How goes it, buddy? Frank, what's that say? 4K? I can't see. It's a little blurry for me, but I'm sorry if I just messed up your name. But thank you for tuning in. Yeah, the Lamont Roach situation, like I said, it could be one or two things. Maybe you don't put so much money into these post-fight conferences because we're 3 months out. When as we start getting closer, maybe they'll spend more money for those ones as we get closer to the fight. Some people took it the wrong way because when you see a Saul Canelo Alvarez post fight, the first one, they're big. The promotional company comes out of pocket. There's a lot more publicity people there, camera. There was a lot of people, more people were notified, and it's huge. It's huge. So when you typically see something for Tank Davis in the past, it's been bigger. So then when they saw this with Lamont Roach 2 days in a row, they were like, yo, doesn't look like the budget was really high on this one, huh? They kind of like threw this together. But you could read that one or two ways. You really could. It's important to always put your best foot forward when you're wanting to promote a fight. Yeah. You want to kick it off real good. I don't know who's in control of the promotional, who's leading the way. I don't, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it looked it a little like, damn, what's up with the budget? What's up with the budget here? Like for Tank, So I get it. I get it. But I'm on the side that I'm not. I think that it's going to be a great fight. I talked about it. I'm tired of people fucking trying to like underestimate all these guys' fights. Like the people that are fighting Tank, that are fighting Naoya Inoue and fighting Tank Crawford. At this point in their career, every fight is dangerous for them. You got to understand that Lamont Roach is trying to take everything away from Tank Davis. He's going to be training his heart out. He's not going in there just for a paycheck. If Lamont can pull this off, guess what? He becomes a 2-division world champion. Because Tank Davis got a belt at 135, and he's already the champion at 130. This could change and put more legacy on Lamont Roach's career. Lamont Roach ain't thinking about Tank Davis's career. He's thinking about his own and how he could come in on that night and play spoiler. Lamont Roach isn't he a professional boxer? Yes. He might be coming down, up from one weight division. I get it. And some men are able to work with that better than others. Some one weight division, I talked about it, could be too much. It really can, just one. Some other fighters transition just fine. Just fine. They were cutting a lot of weight anyway, and they walk around this weight right here. And in fact, when they train in the gym, they train at that weight. So Lamont Roach could possibly fare real well against Tank Davis. Just depends how the fight plays out. Now, I got Tank Davis in the fight, of course, and I got him by knockout. I got Tank Davis by knockout, and I got it 8-9 round, 8th, 9th round. That's when I see Tank Davis knocking him out, right around there, right? So that's my prediction on that fight. But do I count Lamont Roach out? Hell no. Hell no. I think Lamont Roach is a good fighter in his own right. He did beat Hector Luis Garcia, which is a common opponent between him and Tank Davis, even though Tank Davis made him go blind in the fight. He was like, I'm blind, I can't see. Right? Lamont Roach didn't do that to him. So I could see, but they do have a common opponent, and they both beat him. Not sure if Hector was the same man after that fucking Tank punch to the head. He didn't look that good against Lamont Roach. He really didn't. I was kind of cheering for the Dominican fighter too at that time, Hector. I remember watching that fight, and I was like, come on, Hector, man, what are you doing? And he never took it out of the other gear, like second gear, it looked like. Hector, he was just fighting one speed the whole night. Yeah, and Lamont Roach beat him. But, yeah. Let me see what you guys are saying. What's up, RC? Man, it's real. Names are over 135, 140. I don't know why some of these guys don't get in the ring. Maybe too risky of a fight. Sometimes people are afraid to lose. Mayweather, as good as Mayweather was for the sport, he also hurt it. Got these guys all thinking that it's everything to retire undefeated. And it seems like that's what everybody's like started focusing on. And I kind of liked when a fighter already lost, because he got that loss out of the way and he's willing to take risk now, because, he's not worried about being undefeated. And it kind of like binds you from them shackles of you taking these fights because you don't want to lose. In my real opinion and my real assessment of Shakur Stevenson, that's why I think he doesn't take some of these fights. Not that he's scared of the guys, but it's a risky fight. And on the scorecards, it could go either way. And he doesn't want to take a risk of losing. And I think that's why he doesn't. If it wasn't for that reason, I think he would have been fought these guys. I think all these guys would have fought each other. But they on that Mayweather shit, want to be undefeated. And that hurts the sport. For as much as good as he is for the sport, that right there about all the young guys coming up. I want to be undefeated. They don't take the big fights. So yeah, facts, RC, man. It's the truth. And I don't think Shakur's scared of any of these guys. I just don't think he wants to take the chance of losing. That's it. Shakur Stevens is too busy on Twitter. Plus, his hands fragile. Loma's pretty much done. Haney is tied up, and the legal with Ryan. Teal's what? Yeah. Who else is worth the fight with Tank? Well, okay. Let's see here. Who would be a good 135? 135. Let's look up 135 here. I'm gonna look up some rankings right now. I'm gonna see. See right now for myself. What? Okay. First of all, I want to get one thing clear. Let's not bring anybody up in the 140. That's not Tank's division. What my man said right here was, he did bring up Teal, right? Which is like one of the guys that, that we potentially, or Jose Valenzuela at 140, but let's not 140. I really would want Tank Davis to try to like unify, man, become undisputed in some weight division. Where else to start but 135? So who else would be? William Cepeda is one of the names that would come to mind right off the top rip. Why isn't he fighting Cepeda? Why isn't Cepeda fighting him? He's the number one ranked opponent. So that's who, if you asking me who else would I want him to fight? Yeah, William Cepeda would be one of the guys. You know, we know that Loma, and then Keyshawn Davis is making a strong argument right now. Andy Cruz is coming up. It's not going to be a fight right now. Morataya could be a possible fight, and Berenchek can be another fight, the other champion for the WBO. So there's other fighters that Tank Davis can fight. Yes, there is. There's other fighters at 135. He can fight the other champion. Keyshawn Davis is threatening. I'm not sure if he's, ready for him, but if he says he's ready, well, then he's ready. Okay. But Cepeda's got to step up. Morataya, look, what else? Who else? Well, Isa Pitbull Cruz, I wouldn't want to see that fight again. He has no belt. Edwin De Los Santos is another guy that a lot of people also think is a hard puncher. I can't really say he gave Shakur Stevenson all the problems in the world, but Edwin De Los Santos and Andy Cruz is two names that are potential worthy opponents in the future for Tank Davis. They're not champions, but if we're talking none of the champions are fighting them, what other names I can, come up with? And those are some of the names I can come up with. I'm not going to want to be satisfied if he fought like George Camboza. Like guys like that, I don't want Tank to fight George Camboza. No. I'm not who else? Josh. He beat Frank Martin. Frank Martin's out of there. Okay. Sam Antonio Perez, he ain't ready for Tank. He's not ready for Tank. Guys that are ready, just not any names. Guys that are ready. Just don't blur out any name, bro. I'm not sure Schofield is ready for Shakur. Right? And I definitely don't think Schofield can fight Tank. I don't give a fuck what his fruity little dad there thinks. You know what I'm saying, with his little voice, I don't. Nah, come on, bro. They're setting Schofield up against Shakur Stevenson. If that fight even materializes. I mean, they're saying that it's on the card. Yes, I've seen the card. I put up the poster. I'm the one that put it up, right? But I wouldn't say Schofield is ready for Tank like as one of the guys. Nah, fuck that. Nah, he's not just yet. Maybe in a little while, maybe. Yeah. Not now. I would say Keyshawn Davis is more ready for Schofield than Schofield is for Tank. Yeah, so those are just the guys. William Cepeda is at the top of my list. And I'm not sure why those fights are not happening. I don't know. But as for like if we was to go to 140 off the top, you're right. The Tio, which is not fighting him, and Jose Valenzuela became available. That fight was talked about as like in a rumor fight, and I don't know why it didn't come about because Isa Pitbull Cruz opted out of the contract, out of the rematch, and Isa Pitbull Cruz is fighting that other undercard, and Jose Valenzuela is rumored to fight the Russell, Gary Antoine Russell. So, if Russell was able to slide in there and make a fight with him, why couldn't Tank do that at 140? And that would have been 3 divisions. If Tank would have went up and fought Jose Valenzuela, Jose Rayo, that's 3 divisions. Rayo has the legitimate WBA world title. I think I would have went that way. If I was Tank, I think I would have went. I would have focused on going that way. Ryo would have been a better opponent than Lamont Roach, if we're being honest. If we're being honest, Ryo's a tougher fight for Tank. What do you guys think about that? Do you think Roach is tougher than Ryo? Because you're fighting Lamont Roach, right? It's only a title defense for you. Fighting Ryo makes you a 3-division world champion. I think I would have went with the 3-division world champion, bro. Tank better not fight Pitbull or Ryan again. The only reason why he'd fight Ryan Garcia again, because Ryan holds his weight in ticket sales. Yeah, Ryan holds his weight. Ryan is a pay-per-view fighter, not Pitbull. Pitbull doesn't pack in, so I don't care too much about that fight. Well, Pitbull's getting a lot of support from the Mexicans, but it's medium. It's medium. It's not like on a, you know what I'm saying? But Ryan Garcia sells more than any of the guys that you would mention you would want Tank to fight. No one's selling more than Ryan now after that Devin Haney shit and on the return back from the Devin Haney shit. Leading up to the Devin Haney shit, Ryan wasn't selling like that. No, he wasn't, right? But after the Devin Haney and all this shit, when he comes back, Ryan ching. That's why if I was Tank Davis, I would fight him again. Because Ryan's the only dancing partner that can carry his own weight when it comes to pay-per-view and ticket sales. That's why you would take Ryan. But you got to pay Ryan. The reason why Tank fights most of these guys, he doesn't have to pay them. Tank doesn't pay none of these guys. He takes all the money. That's why he's been getting all the money. The reason why Tank Davis hasn't fought all these guys yet, he would have to pay T.O. He would have to pay Devin Haney. He would have to pay Loma. Tank wants all the money. That's why he fights these guys, because he doesn't have to pay them. And Tank takes all the money. Yeah. He had to pay Ryan, though, Tank, because Ryan pulled his weight. That's why. You know? Yeah. Thank you. You would retire after that fight, you said? That fight, so I would retire. What? To every what? Everyone wants me to move up for less money. Don't fight each other. I'd fight Naoya and retire. That would be a massive fight, Naoya fight. That's hundreds of millions of dollars right there. Hundreds of millions of dollars. That and especially if both fighters get to their point in career where they still remain undefeated. Oh my God. Now fighting a fight like that, that's big money. And you in the Tokyo arena, you'll get people to fly out to Japan, actors, movie stars, shit like that. But you got to bring them to America first. You got to bring them to America first, and you got to advertise them in America where that the American public gets to see them for themselves. Once you get them hooked with him, then you can bring it back to some of those bigger places like the Tokyo Arena and start selling some of those tickets for bigger, prices. And that would be $100 million fight right there with Tank and they. Oh my God, that's legitimately Godzilla and King Kong fighting. You know how in the movie Godzilla and King Kong be beefing? That's right. You got Godzilla from Tokyo, Japan, and you got New York. Oh, God. Yo, that would be a monster fight, bro. Oh my God, that would be oh, man. And then retire. But they might want to shoot the rematch. Who knows? You know what I mean? That would be a monster fight, bro. Facts. It is. It would be the biggest fight in boxing, bro. That's the only fight I can see that would generate that kind of money. And then the Saudis are backing Naoya Inoue. So they're gonna be putting their little on top. Woo! Bro, you see what the Saudis are doing right now, right? They're giving us that rematch with Arthur Benavides and David Arthur Benavides and uh Demetrius Bivol for $26. They're bringing it back to the old pay-per-view days because they figured if they lower the price, we don't have to steal it and get buffering for $26. I think we all got $26. We'll just buy the fight and see it legitimately rather than $100. You bring that fight back to $26, I think you'll stop piracy. Why steal the fight when watch it on some things when then you gotta rebuff the thing and blah 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 whatever, or it turns off in the middle of the fight. You can avoid all that for what, $26? I'm in. And then you take the Saudi guys with the Tank Davis and Naoya Inoue fight, and you make that shit something like $26. The entire world is gonna tune in. The pay-per-view sales are gonna go through the roof. Through the roof. What's up, baby? Angry white guy, angry white man. What's up, baby? How you doing? In the building, my man. I don't know if he can handle it as well. That's my biggest question about Naoya Inoue, whether he's maxed out. We have to keep in mind that he's coming up from the 108-pound weight division. And he's moved all the way up to 122, potentially going up to 126. That'll be, in actuality, it'll be his 6th weight division. But since he jumped over one, that one doesn't count. He jumped over the 112 from 108 to 115. And he never entered the 112. But from where he started, if we were counting the divisions, it would technically be his 6th weight division at 126 from where he started at 108. So that's already 6 divisions. Getting into 126. How much more can he go up? That's asking a lot. Manny Pacquiao did it, but he did it with some catchweight fights too. Remember that. He didn't actually fight all those weights in like real divisions. He fought a couple catchweights divisions. That's fucking hard to do, bro. That's some insane stuff. So asking Naoya Inoue to move up from 126 to 130, like I said, if by God's grace Naoya Inoue steps into 130, we got ourselves a fight with Tank Davis. We got ourselves a fight. Tank Davis lose 2 or 3 pounds and Naoya Inoue gain 1 or 2 pounds. They fight at a catch weight, 133, 132, somewhere around there. Tank can afford to lose 2 pounds for the 135 weight that he's making. Just make it at 133. At the end of their career, we got ourselves a fight. Even if he makes 126, Naoya Inoue, and for his last fight, gain a few pounds and try to go at it with Tank, the weight jump would be 6 pounds, roughly right around there. So that's not something that I would frown on. I wouldn't. It's not like a jump where Terrence Crawford would be jumping up 3 weight divisions to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez, and you're trying to sell it to me like that's an even fight. When I'm telling you guys, I don't like that fight because you're cheating. You gotta blimp up Terrence Crawford and have him fight at a disadvantage to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez in his natural weight division. That's cheating. I would want you to lower Saul Canelo Alvarez a little bit and gain Terrence Crawford a little bit, and we meet somewhere in the middle. Now that's even. But blimping him up 3 weight division, no, you're just setting up Terrence Crawford to lose. No human on the planet Earth have ever done something like that. We talked about it. But with Naoya Inoue and Tank Davis, as of right now, from 135 to 122, they're right around the corner from each other. Just where they are right now, they're not far off. So they're under 15 pounds from each other. Under that. So what are they, 13 pounds away from each other right now? So that's doable. That's not Fantasy Island. That's us. That's possible. Their fight is more possible than Terrence and Saul. Naoya Inoue and Tank is more possible than Terrence and Saul. Absolutely. And I could see that fight happening. And it would be good for boxing. It would be good for boxing. And it would solidify Tank Davis. If Tank Davis can pull that off and beat Naoya Inoue, yo, don't sit here and tell me that wouldn't solidify Tank Davis. The only thing you can say is, oh, he didn't fight this many world champions, but he fought the world champion. Naoya Inoue's name and what he made himself as a champion, beating that kind of champion, that holds a lot of weight. Because Naoya Inoue will fill in the slot for all the champions he didn't fight. If you beat that kind of champion, he's a 2-division decorated champion on a 22-fight championship streak. Get the fuck out of here. There's no fighter doing that. To beat that kind of man, that would solidify Tank Davis. That kind of name. Oh, yes, it would. But it would also solidify Naoya Inoue. Beating an American fighter like Tank Davis. That kind of champion, that kind of superstar. Oh, my God. Naoya Inoue doesn't need Tank Davis for his career. He's got 3 Hall of Fame careers in one career. He doesn't need Tank, but that would definitely be the cherry on top. I tell you that much. And the experience of sharing the ring with a man like that. The experience that Tank Davis and Naoya Inoue get from sharing the square circle with each other. And being able to talk about that when you're older. Hey, yo, I was in the ring with Naoya Inoue. I fought Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, these are when men build their names up like this, that's what you want. You want to test yourself and to test the waters to see if you're him. There's no better feeling than to going out there and finding out. Unless you get knocked out. It's still great for you, though. Might be a little embarrassing, but, you could say you share the ring with that kind of legend, too, as well. And he could say the same for you if you make yourself that kind of man. There were a lot of big fighters that shared the ring with each other. Marvelous Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard. That was a fight for both of them. They needed it. They needed that fight. Manny Pacquiao and Floyd. It was 8 years too late, but they needed each other. It was good to have your name with that. So yeah, that's a super fight. Naoya Inoue and Tank Davis, that's a super fight. Yeah. That's fucking Batman fighting Superman or shit like that, Definitely. Thank you, Bob. Yeah, 2.0. Floyd and Manny Pacquiao 2.0. Definitely, 100%. And I think it would be a greater fight than them two because both of these gentlemen are still young. Naoya Inoue and Tank. Few more years. I hope they don't stretch it out like Floyd and Manny Pacquiao did. A lot of people felt like it was way too past its prime, the fight itself. But when it kicked off, and the outcome was the outcome. Okay. So I just hope that we have that fight still early in their career where both men are still strong, but that they both accomplished what they needed to accomplish in the sport. When Tank feels like he did what he had to do, Naoya Inoue feels like he has to do what he had to do, they meet up and give us this mega fight. That would be everything. And I have to admit that you guys are going to have to support the brand, Round One Sports Talk, a little bit more, because I'm going to have to buy a plane ticket to get out to that fight. All right? I don't care if I got to sleep in a hotel. I mean, in a closet in a hotel. You know what I'm saying? Give me the mob closet. I'll take it. You know what I mean? Right? I got to get out to that fight, man. That it would be the most epic fight ever. Right? And I would love to interview these fighters, you know. But yeah, definitely. And, tomorrow we got a good fight. We were talking about Espinoza with Robersi. We're going to be watching that here. So join me. I'm going to be streaming live. And the fight that we have already talked about, I think is going to steal the show, is Espinoza versus Robersi. I would like to see how Navarrete and Oscar Valdez perform. It has a potential also, those two guys, those Mexican dudes, they're going to go out there and bang. And the first fight was decent, I guess. It was more of a one-sided event where I felt Navarrete was just whooping his ass, right? It could be a little different this time. I see the fight playing out the same. I got to be honest. I see the fight being the exact same fight. I think Navarrete's a little bit too big for him, even though Navarrete doesn't seem of late like, I don't know if he's training hard, but he has like a little gut. You notice is like his little gut. And he hasn't been like in the best of shape his last two fights, Navarrete. I'm not sure if he's aging bad because he's not that old. But you ever see that one kid in school? You were like in school, like 13. You guys are like 13, 12 years old. And there's this big baby Huey dude. He's got like a beard. And he's like all of 12 years old. And you're like, bro, ain't you somebody's dad or something, bro? Why are you in this class? Like, and he's just aging a lot faster. You ever have that one friend or know that one kid that aged way faster than all of us? And it kind of like Navarrete, like he's not like aging per se well. So he could be in one of those kind of situations. I'm not sure because he's really not that old. So I'm not sure of maybe it's a lack of training, but he didn't look that great. He really didn't, so we'll see. But I love the Espinoza with Robersi fight and the rest of that fight card. I'm tuning in tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna check that out. And then we got Subriel Matias. I mean not Subriel Matias. Liam Paro versus Richard Hitchison. You know what I mean? I think about Subriel when I think about Liam Paro, man. He beat my guy. Shit, So and it's kicking off in Puerto Rico as well in San Juan. So I'm gonna be I want to catch both of those fights. So I'm definitely gonna be watching both of those fights and tune in with me. We have a little game here. We call it Notre Dame's. It's where that you guys as fans can come in and try to predict the fighter and the round. You can't call he'll knock him out 10 8 9 10. That doesn't work. You have to pick the exact round. And you got to pick the guy to be awarded the prestigious Notre Dame's title here at Round One Sports Talk, where we throw it up like this. Let me show you. For everybody that's coming along new. This is how we do it, right? And whoever wins, we give you the honor of being the Notre Dame's world champion here at Round One Sports Talk. You have to be Notre Dame's because you're calling exactly the round and the fight. You must know what you're talking about, So a lot of guys here like Lionheart, Armando, Bam Bam, they've won it once or twice, okay? But I'm tell you right now, if you think you can beat me here at Round One Sports Talk and call these fights better than me, then I challenge you to come on and watch these fights with us live. And let's see who wins the Notre Dame's World Championship. And this is the belt that we have. No, we don't send it to you, but I do put it on and give you guys recognition. We put this one on. All right? The Stone Cold Stunner, the Notre Dame's World Championship right here. You know what I mean? And I'll shout your name out and I'll put it up and the world sees you're Notre Dame's. You know how to call these fights. You know what I'm saying? So we like to mess around and have a good time here watching these fights, talk shit, you know what I'm saying? And Have a good night. So please join me when we kick off this fight card. Navarrete, we're also gonna kick off all the other fights with all the belts with Tyson Fury and Usyk. So join us for those. And yeah. So fight fans, listen, it has been amazing morning with you guys. Let me read off some of your questions. Eric got something to say here, man. You got me hyped. All right, you come through, baby. You know what I'm saying? Come through. Yeah. We got some fights. So if you like big fights, guys, we're going to be covering all these fights. Join us here at Round One Sports Talk. Please do me a favor and click that like button for me. It helps out the channel. Share the videos if you haven't already. Please subscribe to the channel. We're going to be watching these fights. And like I said, we have a great time here at Round One Sports Talk. Come show us your boxing knowledge that you can call these fights like no other. And like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys. I'll probably go on tonight around 8:30. Let's see how that goes. And or if not, I'll just send out a notification. Or if not, we'll just be on for Saturday's fights. All right. Love you guys. Be safe.